Hello everyone! Today I'm going to experiment a little bit and I have no idea what the outcome will be. I need 80 grams paper for my origami art and I need it to be deep violet color. What I have bought is very lightly colored purple and it doesn't fit my needs. So I'm going to try and dye it with the acrylic paint. First of all, I had to find some plastic and the problem is that I don't use plastic at home at all and I don't have plastic bags or something, so I just found some wrapping paper to use it as protection for my table. First of all, I'm going to mix the colors of ultramarine blue and crimson red. I have read a little bit about on the internet how to make vibrant purples, and we'll see how it goes. A little bit too reddish in my opinion. Let's add some blue. Yeah, that's it. That's better. Now adding some water. A little bit more of blue. Yes, this is the color I want, and I'm going to paint it. Remember, this is a very thin paper, it's 80-gram paper and I need to be very careful not to rip it. Seems nice. And much more vibrant than this side. In the meantime that I'm waiting for paper to dry, I'm going to try and dye the cobalt blue paper and see how it goes. slightly bluish. And not so beautiful violet color. A little bit more coloring. Let's see. Oops. I already see the small particles of the paper ripping on the face. Have to stop and try it out. This rips really easily. It's 80-gram paper after all. The paper is now dry, and this one I had outside under the box on the sun, and it's quite flat, but it's not yet completely dry. I left this one inside and it is already completely dry, but as you can see it had curled a little bit on the edges. I will have to straighten them up, maybe in a map or between the books or something like that. This is really nice color, much more vibrant than this one here. And this is now base blue color with the shade of violet, which I used for this paper. And yes, it's also curled and I need to flatten it. It actually works to dye the paper like this, but you can see all those stripes here because of striping with brushing with a paintbrush. So I'll have to find maybe some other way to color the paper. I have cut the paper to size, and now as you can see the color is only on the one side. So do you still remember last time on the video when I have made the tool to make a precise bends and folds for the pieces? Well, here it is. This comes really in handy now, because when I'm not precise at folding the paper, the problem is I can see this lighter shade of color in the origami module. Here. We don't see now the little spots of whitish color, but mainly it will do. If I do it by hand, sometimes I can make a mistake and make it like this. And then we have lots of light shades like here and here. And then when you make a module on the end, if this is not hidden in the other pieces, you can clearly see the other side of the paper, which kinda looks messy. One is fine and then another is not okay. The color looks pretty vibrant, doesn't it? And well, I don't see those stripes anymore, so I don't really think that is an issue. The paper itself, it's a little bit rough now because the small cellulose parts were like a bit separated and lifted when I painted it with water-based acrylic paint. So I can also find some other ways to do it. I'll have to think about it a little bit and see what I can, if I can find some nice already prepared violet color and experiment with the shades. I went shopping in the meantime and I bought a purple acrylic paint already mixed in a violet shade that I like. And let's try this one more time. I put a lot of water this time. Wow, too much water, too much. This won't do. As you can see, when there's too much water, the paper just becomes so very much wavy. Let's try something else. Okay, I'm pouring a little bit of paint. And let's try again. Oh, that's very much better. Really nice, vibrant purple. afraid it's still a little bit too wet, but it will do this time. Let me remind you, this is 80-gram paper and it's very thin. This is why dyeing this kind of paper presents such a big problem. I've seen people dyeing the paper in a water tray where they put water inside and then they simply just put some food dye or textile dye inside, and then they put the paper inside and color it, then dry it, but I don't think this would work really well with this thin paper. I'm going to let this dry. Unfortunately, you can't see the real purple color here with this LED light that I'm using. It's kind of bluish. But I'll make a picture on the sun to see the vibrance of the purple color that I get on this paper. Let's try another one. Perhaps a little bit thicker, so I'll add a little bit more color. As you can see, the color is thicker now. It doesn't just wash away. There is also a little bit of water here. It's kind of gooey. Why did I use acrylic paint? I actually wanted to try also with the food dye or textile dye, but I'm not sure if those colors are UV resistant. And I try to aim for the colors, also the colored paper, to be UV resistant, so the art can last much longer in those vibrant colors that I use. I don't know if you can see the difference on the camera, but this one was painted with lots of water and the stripes are blurry, and I painted this with thicker color, and it's seen that the stripes are kind of sharp. In the end, I don't think it really matters if there are stripes seen or not, because we only see small parts of the paper anyways. This is from yesterday, and we can clearly see a little bit of discoloration here, where the color was unevenly put on the paper. But the stripes that you've seen cannot really be seen anyways. So in the end, it doesn't really matter if the stripes are seen or not. It's just that you get the color that you really want, and you cannot buy it on the market. I'd say that it's really easy to clean this wrapping paper, which is actually not a paper, but it's plastic. I would rather say gift wrap. There we go. I can use it next time. This is now broad daylight, and we can clearly see the difference when I put it on the sun. And you can see the vibrant violet color. So, as we can see, the colors are very different when seen on the sun or when seen on the shadow or LED light. This is from yesterday, where I mixed the red and blue. It was crimson red and was indigo blue. Yeah. So it's kind of muddy. Might be because there is a little bit of yellow inside in the red color, and it's not really so vibrant as this one. To make the paper nice and not so curled, nicely straight, I intend to use the foils to put them inside, and then in between the books, or maybe on a map or something, to see if this is going to straighten up. When the paper is straight, it's easier to cut to size. When it's curved like this on the edges, and then you can't really cut it so well. Let's try and put another one on the other side. this just curls back in, so I don't think this is a good idea to put the other one on the other side, and I need just to try and put one by one inside each separate foil, and then put it between the books, so, or something else heavy, so the paper would straighten up. Perhaps it would help if I would simply just paint the paper on the other side. I can try that also. Have some color left from before. I guess it does kind of help. We'll see when it dries up. This paper is now dry. That was painted on both sides, and yes, it does help to straighten out the paper. However, I think it's now more wavy in the middle of the paper. But anyways, I will just straighten it up with the books. I wouldn't recommend to paint it on the other side if you don't want to spend lots of color. Let's see what would happen if I would try to dye completely white paper in colored water. This is also 80-gram paper. Not so bright violet, and I would also need something to hang. So the paper would dry out, or I can simply leave it like this and see what happens. This small white paper that was put in a colored water is now almost dry, but as you can see, the color is too much diluted, and it doesn't really seem so beautiful, so vibrant as the one where I used the paintbrush. 6 hours later, the sheets are almost completely flattened. I used a newspaper, so the weight of the newspaper held this down and flattened it out. Same thing with this one. I already put one sheet of paper on the other side. As you can see, before I couldn't do it because it was too curved, and now it's fine. This one is a little bit curved, but it will go in these foils as easily as this one here. Like this, I just put it inside. And that's it.